I am Jean Alan Zamora and I will be giving a brief discussion of our chosen organization. The Aklatang Emilio Aguinaldo Information Resource Center, or AEAIRC, is De La Salle University's primary source of resource materials and services for research and development. With a wide collection of books, periodicals, journals from local and international sources, it continuously updates and upgrades its collection to meet the growing needs of the Lasallian community. The humble beginnings of the Aklatang Emilio Aguinaldo can be traced from the time General Emilio Aguinaldo Dasmariñas Campus was established on July 18, 1977. It started with a classroom-sized library with two library staff. As years go by, there have been changes and transfers of building, until on August 1, 1991, the groundbreaking of the new library was held. The late Bishop Felix Perez led the ceremonies. The building, which was patterned after the Aguinaldo Shrine in Cavite, Cavite, was brainchild of brother Andrew Gonzalez. It was designed by architect Roberto Estanislao. The construction of the building was awarded to engineer Perry Petro of Constar Construction. On April 30, 1992, the new Aclata Emilio Aguinaldo was inaugurated. Years passed, and with the evolving technology, the library system has improved a lot already. The advancements and the current system being used by the library will be further discussed later. Under the services offered, we have circulation services wherein the library staffs assist in finding the location and lending of library materials. Electronic resource services is the internet kiosk of the library. Patrons can access internet resources through this section. This is also jokingly known as the computer shop ng Lasal. Educational media services. The university's main digital and audio service. Patrons can borrow projectors, speakers, microphones, DVD, and can watch movies within the EMS Center. Photocopying and printing services. The photocopying service is available at the main library building, and payments are made in cash, while the printing service is available at the ERS and is paid through eCash. And lastly, the visiting researchers. The university library is also open for researchers from other schools and offices. They just have to secure a referral letter from their school's library head office or office head. Under the library areas, we have archives and special collections. This houses the official library records, publications, thesis collections, in print and in electronic format, of both graduate and undergraduate students. Rare books, memorabilia, preservations of copies of Lasaliana collection, and published and unpublished works written by faculty members of the university, and resources about the United States of America. Reader's Services Unit. This includes the reference and information, periodicals, reserve, circulation, Filipiniana, and Isagani Art Cruise collection, and the Graduate Studies Corner. This unit is in charge of the scheduling and monitoring of Roche's library orientation and electronic resources hands-on training program. And lastly, the Technical Services Unit. This is in charge of the collection development, acquisition, and cataloging. Just like other school facilities, Aklatang Emilio Aguinaldo also needs a way to assess their effectivity and evaluate their success at reaching goals through providing survey forms to students, faculties, and alumni, which is accessible from their website. The form aims to measure the key performance metrics of the facility, which includes the satisfaction of the users with the available resources, accessibility of books, journals, and theses, and the accessibility of their electronic resources. They also take into consideration the contentment the users feel with the service provided by the staffs and facilities. Being the central source of the information throughout the academic community, Aklatang Emilio Aguinaldo envisions to provide the students and faculties the resources, services, and facilities necessary to meet the learning information needs. And its mission is to become a creative partner in the achievement of the LSUD's goal in teaching, learning, and research. Moreover, it envisions itself as the foremost academic library in Region 4, in terms of collection, innovative services, and facilities.
Hello, my name is Erica Barwell, and now we are going to talk about the problem and opportunity statement. According to the school librarian, Ms. Sharon M. Samaniego, the very thing that the facility prioritizes among its subject areas is its primary service offered, which is the circulation services that includes borrowing and returning services. It is because their main objective as one of the school facilities is to provide service for their patrons, which are the library users that are mainly composed of students and faculty. Through the interview of the researchers with the school librarian, they have found out that the database that the Aklatang Emilio Aguinaldo uses primarily on their borrowing and returning services is called Destiny Library Manager. This database is a web based off shelf system that is not created by the facility itself but rather bought from Follett, which is an American brand that is well known in creating various and high quality databases. In addition, there is a previous system before Destiny Library Manager, which is called Follett Circat. However, this is not a web based platform, which caused them to eventually switch to Destiny Library Manager, which was bought in 2010 but started its operation in 2012. It is stated earlier that the Destiny Library Manager is primarily used for the borrowing and returning of library items, thus shows its limitation that it cannot store data for book acquisitions. That is the reason why the internal system of the facility has created their own database, which is called Request and Acquisitions Management System, or RAMS, which is based on Access. They also have e-accession whereby all books that they receive were recorded and numbered accordingly. They also have a database called DLSUDAIR, which means Access to Institutional Repository, which is a system for the thesis and dissertations. Currently, only the faculties have access on this system, but it is said that by the second semester, it will now be accessible for the students.
I'm Charlotte Asombrado. The Atlatang Emilio Aguinaldo says that the softwares that they have are all helpful in regulating the transactions especially for the borrowing and returning of books. However, there are features which are needed to be improved in their internal system that would not anymore require them to present big amount of data for the reports that they need. They have also mentioned that one of the things that they also want to improve in their system is the library software because they want that their software to be fit in the current trend nowadays and would also allow library patrons to browse over the shelves virtually using OPAC and would filter more informations that they have searched. The Aklatang Emilio Aguinaldo is finding its ways for the best alternative software that they can use. Currently, they have an open source system which is being tested and used by the junior high school and also of the graduate studies. This system lessens their fees that they may incur like the maintenance fees and subscription fees. Open source system is not yet available in the AEA for the reason that it would require them a large amount of content. Thus, they can foresee that one of the possible problems that they may encounter is migration of this software to the library. They are still finding out the best ways for this so that it would be available to all possible users. I'm Charlotte Asombrado. Here are our objectives. First is to analyze and determine the number of library items that are not yet returned or not returned on time. To present how the facility measures its success of their circulation services as their primary subject area. And third, to identify the library items that are needed to be replaced, returned, or repaired.
Good day. I'm Gianna Camille S. Javier, and I will be explaining the data models we used and the ETL process. For a conceptual data model, our subject area is the circulation services, and its dimensions are the users and the inventory. For a logical data model, under the circulation services, we included the following: borrowing ID, user ID, barcode, date borrowed, date due for return, date returned, and amount of fine. While under the user's dimension, we included user ID, name, and college. And lastly, under the inventory dimension, we included barcode, call number, title, author, date published, type, status, and location. For our physical data model, we have set the borrowing ID as the primary key and the user ID and barcode as foreign keys. For the inventory, we use the barcode as primary key, while for the users, we use the user ID as primary key. The extract, transform, and load process is a major component when it comes to building a data warehouse. Building a data warehouse is no easy task, and the same goes when establishing the ETL process. This is because every ETL process is different for every entity, since the process is made based on what the business needs. To make the task of building the ETL process easier, data warehousing experts came up with the 34 ETL subsystems, which serves as a guide for companies who are just establishing their data warehouses. In line with this, we chose the following ETL subsystems. Subsystem 2, Change Data Capture System. Since AEA IRC is a large organization, the data they gather every day is also large. Through Change Data Capture System, they can easily change particular sets of data without having to interrupt other processes within the system. They also get a record of all the changes that happen to the data, which will be useful for an entity like AEA IRC. Subsystem 3, Extract System. Since AEA IRC have several distinct databases that serve different purposes, an extract system would be helpful to gather all those data into a single database to minimize the effort of opening different databases and doing daily tasks. Subsystem 26, Version Migration System. Since AEA IRC is in the academic scene, change will be fast and constant. Technologies and innovations will constantly emerge, challenging the organization to keep up to these changes. A version migration system will help in these situations where entities continuously go on with the cycle of developing, testing, and producing various versions of databases that will better fit the needs of their users.
Good day, sir. This is Johanna Lindsay Ahena. In accordance to our problem and opportunity statements, our data mining and SQL statements will be focusing on the library items not yet returned, library items returned on time, and the library items needed to be replaced, returned, or repaired. For the first problem and opportunity statement, regulating of transactions for borrowing and returning of library items requires the need for data that involves its number. Thus, our SQL statement number 1 about library items not yet returned includes the selection of borrowing ID from the circulation services table, the user ID from the users table, the barcode from the inventory table, the date due for return, the date returned, and the amount of fine from the circulation services table. And we set the criteria of the date returned as null to only show those library items that are not yet returned. For the second problem, we present how the facility measure its success by showing those library items that are returned on time and do not have any amount of fine. By selecting the borrowing ID from the circulation services table, the user ID from the users table, the barcode from the inventory table, and the date due for return, the date returned, and the amount of fine from the circulation services table. And we set the amount of fine to 0 to only show those which don't have any fine paid because of returning the books or the library items on time. Lastly, it is an important factor for the school library to maintain its items in good condition in order to be kept useful for the library users to use. And we, the researchers, made our SQL statement number 3, which is about library items needed to be replaced, returned, or repaired by selecting the barcode, call number, title, location, and status from the inventory table and setting the criteria of the status from the inventory table by not available in order to show those who have or those items that don't have a status of availability, but only those which are lost, out for repairs, and those that are due. In conclusion, we made a report visualization for the SQL statement number 1 and 2 in just one chart. We showed it by using bar graphs. We showed that the returned library items includes 56 library items and unreturned library items only include 8. Meanwhile, for the library items needed to be repaired, replaced, and returned, the lost ones include 5. Those that are out for repairs includes 13, and those due for return are 8. That's all. Thank you.